Hey everybody, welcome back to the channel. Thanks for being here. I appreciate you guys clicking on the channel and participating. A lot of Bowie fans out there really get good responses to Bowie, and I did one recently last week, and it was really fun. It was really kind of eye-opening. I don't know why when I've listened to, like I say, a few of his Dark Star, and then some other older tracks I've never heard of and things like that. I'm real hit and miss with Bowie. So, but obviously I've known him his whole career of him and seen him act in movies and all kinds of stuff. But I realize there's just so many songs that I just don't know about. And this is one of them. Now, this is kind of interesting to me. This is 1980 Scary Monsters. I kind of remember that title. And Super Creeps, 10 songs, 45 minutes, 48 seconds. And we're going to do sNoGame Part 1. That's the opening track. And I'm just looking through the songs, and I don't know if I've heard Scary Monsters. That sounds familiar, but it might just sound familiar because I probably heard the album title. And then Ashes to Ashes, I'm pretty sure I've heard. And Fashion, I know I've heard Fashion. Yeah, that's a cool song. Okay, Teenage Wildlife, not sure. Scream Like a Baby, not sure. Kingdom, don't know. Because You're Young, and sNoGame Part 2 is the last. I wonder if I should just play that as well. I don't know. So I have heard a few songs, because obviously Fashion was a hit. And I don't know if Ashes to Ashes was a hit. I can't remember, but I'm pretty sure I've heard that song. But not sure if I've heard sNoGame Part 1. So looking forward to hearing it. And it's an interesting time period. So this is 1980 for David Bowie. Interesting time period. Let's go. So this must have been just before Let's Dance and all that. Maybe I'll have to look into it.
Silhouette や影が革命を見ている。もう天国の自由の階段はない。Silhouettes and shadows. What's the revolution? Whoa, reach us to heaven. It's no締め出され何が起こっているかわからない。どこに教訓はあるか人々は指を折られている。こんな独裁者に癒められるのは悲しい。Documentaries on refugees, couples against a target. They throw a rock against the road, and it breaks into pieces. Draw the lines on yesterday, and it's all so much scarier. Put a したい恋人たち、虫に石を投げれば粉々に砕け、昨日に蓋をすれば恐怖は増す。俺の頭に弾を打ち込めば新聞は書き立てる。
So is tomorrow. People have their fingers broken to be insulted by this fascist. It's so degrading and it's so bad. Shut up!
Well, oh shoot. Oh man, that was good. Yeah, I could pretty much say I've never heard that song before, but it's funny because it took me a minute to figure out if I had or not, because that feel of that song had a very familiar sound. Now, I don't know if it's part two, maybe I've heard, or if it's just kind of what they were into at this time in this album, but that had like a familiar sound to it. But I don't remember hearing that that woman's voice in the song, or his screaming, almost, I don't know, in pain. I'm not sure. I didn't really catch the whole meaning of the song, so I'm not sure. He's so theatrical, it could have been part of the song, the way he was singing that. Some of it was pretty raw, in the sense that, sorry, let's try to skip to that other video. I was trying to look at some information on a sense that his voice was just like emotional and like wailing in a way. And like I said in the video prior to this, is he has so many voices. So, I don't know if this was just something he was into at the time, or if he was, because I know he had some pretty gnarly drug problems, and if it affected his voice during this period of his career, or what. It could have been on purpose, but very different. I don't think I've quite heard that. What's that song? Heroes. That's a pretty, he's, got a pretty powerful, kind of strong voice in that song, but this was kind of at a different level. Interesting to me. As a matter of fact, I kind of feel like we should just, let me go back. Started to play that Porcupine Tree song. I didn't want that. Oh, come on. All right, let me see if I can find part two, because maybe we should just listen to that right now. I feel like we should. We should just check it out, see what's up with that. Okay, part two.
Silhouettes and shadows, watch the revolution. No more free steps to heaven. Just walkie-talkie, heaven or hearth. Just big heads and drums, full speed and pagan. And it's no game. I am bored from the event. I really don't understand the situation. So where's the moral? People have their fingers broken To be insulted by these fascists is so degrading. And it's no game. Documentaries on refugees, couples against the target. Throw a rock against the road and it breaks into pieces. Draw the blinds on yesterday and it's all so much scarier. Put a bullet in my brain and it makes all the papers. And it's no children round the world put camel shit on the walls. They're making carpets on treadmills or garbage sorting. And it's no game.
Okay. Well then, aren't I glad I listened to that song? Yeah, that's the voice, right? Okay, so some questions answered at the end of part 1. Okay, so he wasn't in some kind of he might have been in some kind of a drugged out stupor. I don't know, but that was his voice that I recognized. So yeah, totally probably playing a character in that first song, just with the female vocalist and just playing a part and and just acting out the song in a certain way. But again, that song, had that same kind of bouncy boom doom boom bum ba kind of like thing going on where it seemed familiar again, but still that's not the song I've heard with that sort of feel to it. But that's the first and the last song, so now I gotta just check out the ones I haven't heard in between. As you know, I have heard some, but Ashes to Ashes, and then whatever that other song was, the most probably the biggest hit off of it, Fashion, which is a cool song. See, back then in 1980, let's see, I was pretty young. I was like 15 years old, and I loved like the early songs, Changes, and Ziggy Stardust and all that stuff. And so when this kind of stuff was coming out, it didn't seem the same to me, and he wasn't a favorite of mine enough for me to be. He wasn't one of those guys where I just followed whatever they did for some reason, because I got thrown off by his music a little bit too much, I think. Like when I was a kid, I remember hearing Fame on the AM radio, and that song, really struck a chord with me. It was such a fascinating song to me, just with the interesting guitar work in there, and the cool fame, all that just was unique. Hadn't heard that, and I don't remember when that came out, but I'm sure I was younger than 15. That was in the 70s. But I love that stuff. So then when like this kind of like fashion came out, it was a little bit stark because I wasn't familiar enough with his other works to sort of follow along. It just seemed abrupt and different. So I sort of kind of lost track a little bit and would only hear his hits over the years. But yeah, his voice when he sings like that, such an amazing clarity and just such a crooner. That just beautiful voice comes out. Just so talented with his voice and his ability to just have so many different characters in his voice. A lot of singers sing one way, and they might have another little thing they do, a little trick or something, but he really has like different voices, from what I heard. But it all sounds like him, interestingly enough. You can always tell it's him. Oh man, it's so cool. All right, well, that was a great recommendation. I'm glad I followed up with the part 2. I don't remember if you suggested to do that or not, but I don't know. There was just too many questions with that first song for me to just leave it at that. So since there was a part 2, I feel relieved in a sense that it worked out good in the end. So looking forward to hearing more from David Bowie. I got quite a few recommendations, but please, by all means, leave some down in the comment section or tell me what you like, and we'll eventually get to it, I'm sure. If you want to help out the channel, go over to Ko-Fi and recommend songs. That helps. Or join me over on Patreon. Anyways, thank you guys so much. David Bowie is always fun. It's always something new to explore with him. I think that's probably one of my favorite things about music is when the bands aren't the samey all the time. But for some reason, I just got kind of discombobulated with David Bowie and didn't really realize how important and his diversity was and how intrinsic that was in his music. I didn't realize it, I don't think, fully, as I am starting to understand. Anyways, good stuff. Thank you guys so much. We'll see you in the comments, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye-bye.